Alright guys, hype news for Wuthering Waves. With some brand new leaks and updates, we now have a first look at the upcoming character kit info. This info is going to be on AUGUSTA, a upcoming 5-star character introduced in the recent Septimont map expansion, planned to release very soon, with her being officially drip marketed after the 2.4 version update livestream. So let's go over her new kit and gameplay details and all we know about this character in this video. And also remember, I'll be giving out my second free Battle Pass giveaway for hitting 1500 subs on the channel. All you have to do is be subscribed, like the video, and leave a comment. Max 1 entry per person, and the rules will be in the comment section down below. Appreciate the support, and once we reach 2000 subs, I'll do even more. But alright, let's not waste any time, get right into it. Check out all this new info on AUGUSTA. Now before we get into the kit and gameplay details, let's go over the basics like her element, weapon, and release date. Now according to the early info and the roadmaps, AUGUSTA is going to be a electro element using the broadblade weapon with the role of a main DPS. Her release is also expected to be in the upcoming 2.6 version update alongside another character, the 5-star Yuno, set to be a gauntlet arrow sub DPS character. So these two coming out in the same patch, they'll be really hype. Can't wait for this update. You guys let me know, are you guys going to be pulling on these characters or save up for future characters? Now let's go over the kit info. Keep in mind, this is just a small preview of her kit and not the entire thing. So once we do have the entire kit details, as usual, I'm going to do a full pre-release kit breakdown on AUGUSTA once all the info is available. But until then, let's check out this small preview. Alright, now starting off with AUGUSTA's weapon, because the info on her weapon got leaked as well. It has a base attack of 587, and the main stat for her weapon is going to be crit rate. Now this is not a surprise as she is a role of a main DPS, and she's definitely going to be doing a lot of damage, so she wants as much crit rate and crit damage, so her weapon is going to be crit rate main stat. Now for the passive effect on her signature weapon, so the effect here, it increases attack by 12%, and once she uses her resonant skill, her heavy attack damage will gain a 24% damage boost, which also confirms to us that AUGUSTA she will scale on heavy attack damage the most, so that is definitely one thing to note when building her echoes. She will most likely want heavy attack damage, and of course the more ranks you obtain on a weapon, the stronger it will get. The damage boost at max rank goes up from 24% all the way up to 48% damage boost. I'd say her weapon being really good and valuable is really important, as a lot of players are drawn to its amazing design. As we saw here from the drip, her weapon does look really sick, so I'd say the design is definitely a main selling point for a lot of players, myself included. So we just went over the weapon info and her basic info. Now let's take a look at the info on her kit and gameplay. Alright, starting off with the Forte skill. What is it all about? So as a main DPS, she wants as much crit and attack as possible, which is when her Forte skill comes into play to give AUGUSTA a bunch of buffs, allowing her to do a lot more damage. She will give herself attack, crit rate, and crit damage stats to herself. We don't know by how much this is, but having crit rate and crit damage buffs into her kit is already a pretty good sign, as it will make it a lot easier to build her and reach the high crit stat requirements. AUGUSTA is described as a heavy attack scaling main DPS, which will excel in most of the endgame modes, providing both high single target damage and AoE damage. From what is also being said about AUGUSTA's gameplay is that AUGUSTA will play similar to Zani, as with her starting state will not offer much, especially her basic attacks, but her skill, however, introducing a brand new mechanic where she will be able to grapple on enemies and bring them closer to each other. This will work as some sort of crowd control mechanic to prevent enemies from splitting up and getting some distance between you, which I gotta admit would be a really helpful mechanic for some cases. Sometimes the enemies do split up a lot, so having this mechanic into the game would be really helpful. A good crowd control to pull the enemies all together. That sounds really nice. Now, similar to many other characters, her damage starts to ramp up after the use of her ultimate, and after she uses her ultimate, apparently she will do a field where enemies take damage over time every few seconds, and if this next info is indeed true, would be really hype, as Augusta is said to have both a sword stance and a fist fighting stance, which if I do think about it would kind of make sense to the character. In a way, she kind of reminds me of a reverse of Zani, as Zani is a gauntlet character that uses a grid sword with the ult, and then Augusta is a broadblade character that then uses their ult to go into a melee fist fighting stance. So pretty interesting info. So basically, after she does the ultimate, she presses the sword on the ground to do the electric field to do damage over time, and then she resumes into her melee stance state. We can definitely expect Augusta to be the core of the new electric team, as she will fill the main DPS role, which I would say is pretty good, as I would say out of all the elements that are lacking right now, Electro seems to be the weakest in terms of straight up DPS, but now Augusta will fill that gap. And also, luckily for Augusta, Yinlin will for sure be her best sub DPS option, providing amazing buffs and damage to a team on the side. Yinlin, still an amazing character to this day, and will bring Augusta to new heights. So these two will work really good together. I can imagine that being the new main Electro team, and your support slot can pretty much go to anybody, but I can for sure see Yinlin and Augusta being some really good partners. Overall, a really cool early concept of the character that got leaked. Pretty interesting. Let me know down below what you guys think. Also remember, keep in mind that it's still not confirmed and this is still early and will not reflect 100% of what is shown into the game at a later date. But still, let me know down below, are you guys polling for Augusta in 2.6 or even Yuno in 2.6 as well? We have a lot of hype characters that are on the way. I even covered a part of this in my latest roadmap video. So for those who want to see all the character and content that are on the way from our current patch 2.4 until the 3.0 version update, feel free to check that out, as a lot of hype is on the way. The rest of the year is pretty packed with hype releases and content, and went over all of it in that video. But that is pretty much all the info for today. So if you guys did enjoy, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and put those notifications on. Don't forget to enter the giveaway as well, because the rules will be down below in the description and comment section. I appreciate the support and reaching 1500 subscribers on the channel. And for those wondering why I started a second channel, I'm not posting on the main channel with nearly 20k subscribers. That is because my reach has been limited for a few months, so in order to properly update you guys, I'll be using this second channel, because if you guys compare the numbers from the main channel to this channel is performing like 10 times better, which should not be the case, as the main channel is like 20 times bigger. But it happens, this is just a temporary thing, and once this main channel is good to go, things will go back to normal on there, and I'll still use this second channel to do exclusive wuwa content, so don't worry about that. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.